Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, here we are once more for episode 24 of your Gearheads and Guardians with that guy over there, my buddy, Drew.
This guy.
And me.
What's up, bud?
How you doing, brother?
Good, good. You look like you look like you need to relax just a little bit.
Just a scotch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Some back issues, brother. So, yeah, but
Yeah.
you know what it is? It's like same thing. Shining boots that day, put my boots under my bunk, and what happened? You and Sergeant Major carried me to the TMC at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. Yep. When you pinch a nerve or strain a muscle, it's easy to do. It really is easy to do.
Yeah. Apparently it's a lot easier than what I thought. But two things I want to say before we get started with tonight's show. Actually, three things. Last Wednesday, it's kind of a somber day. We had a fellow racer had his funeral, so I want to say, God bless to the family. If there's anything that the family needs, give us a holler. We'll try to help you out as much as possible. We love you guys, So, and I know y'all don't know me from Adam, but my best friend. That's all I gotta say. So, second thing I want to say, I always say at every episode, you are important. Okay, we care about you. We need you in the fight. We need to have you to have our six. So we can't have you thinking about harming yourself, hurting somebody else. We need you in the fight. Okay. So remember, was it what is that number? 988 option 1, or email gearheadsandguardians@gmail.com, and myself or Drew will try to point you in the right direction, give you the help we can give you, help you out, give you the shirt off our back if we have to, but we're going to make sure we take care of you. And the third thing I want to talk about real fast, it'll only take me about 3 minutes. There is a young lady there's one other thing I want to talk about too. A young lady that works for USCCA got in touch with me. As a matter of fact, she got in touch with me the last time I was at the VA, about 2 weeks ago. And we were talking, told her about Gearheads and Guardians. So I want to give this to you, kind of unofficially give this to you until I see you. But she gave you your US.
Oh, that's what's up, man. Oh, appreciate it.
This stuff is like canvas. It's like super thick, man. It is a nice ass hat.
Wow.
Got that? And then this is my bad. This is the one I got excited about. This is the one I really got excited about. And you're probably going to have to fold this up better when you get it. But and I'm telling you, the quality of these shirts, not a joke.
Yeah,
not
jam
a
up.
joke. These are not. I mean, the fabric is thick. I mean, it's sweet. But that's the front.
Wow.
You can see it right there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Pimping, right? The sides got the gray thing down the sides too. They're sweet. Right? This is the best part. This is the back.
Bam! Let everybody know. That's awesome.
So
no, appreciate it, man. Good looking out. Yeah, and for you, and we got them new. While we're talking about merch real quick, we're still playing. Sam is still working on our Gearheads and Guardians and Relief for Troop logos because of how complex they are. But these are the new koozies. They are the hard stainless steel koozies, but they are etched with glitter and vinyl from the race car. So these will be on our website here soon. They're $40 a piece, only because they are a little more extravagant. But we just got new merch. I got some stuff for you. What's that?
Those do cans and bottles, or just cans?
So this one, yeah. So I went on the limb because I wanted to be a little bit different, right? Just to give a different array, obviously to try to raise more money for our charities and what have you not. And I went on and I found these, and they actually have a bottle topper. If you want to put a bottle in this, they have a bottle topper on it, so you can keep a whole entire bottle chilled.
Wow, cool.
So they're really cool, stainless steel. And this she etches this. These are one-offs right now with the glitter and the vinyl. Can be ordered. They take a little bit of time, but we're gonna start getting these made with just the can, unless someone wants one for a special, but just the can, it'll be etched just like our other tumblers are. And I got the new tumblers in too. Yeah, those are stainless steel. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. Okay, last thing I want to take 10 seconds. Cassandra, the San Antonio VA clinic in the ER department, I believe, or the triage, or whatever. I was in the medical field towards the last part of my military career because I got hurt back then too. And they said, get out or do something different. So I had to do something different. I had to reclass. Mm-hmm. I know that a lot of like nurses and, people like that, technicians in the military or even at the VA, they don't get enough attaboys. Everybody wants to complain and harp and they did, but they never say about how great they were. So Cassandra, I told you the channel, I told you what time. I'm hoping you're watching. Thank you for a job well done. You're awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. Yesterday I saw my whole health nurse, who used to be my oncologist for the longest time, Dr. Jill. Dr. Jill McPherson. I told her about the podcast and what have you not. Hopefully we can get her on sometime to talk about oncology and cancer and stuff. We'd also like to try to get some of our Zalise upline on, but I saw her yesterday, told her about the new product. But she and Dr. Hiley, when you talk about doing good and good people at the VA, they're the ones that saved my life. They're the ones that caught this, and when I first got diagnosed. So Dr. Jill, Dr. Hiley, who's retired, he's no longer there. He was the chief of the bone marrow transplant and chemo unit there at the VA. So yeah, absolutely. The as much bad, like you said, that the VA gets sometimes, there are a lot of good out there. You just got to find them, and I say that loosely with no disrespect, but we hear stories, and we're going to talk a little bit about it tonight when we talk about combat trauma. But you often you hear it too often, that they don't do enough for us when things should be done. Right? If there's unknowns and what have you not, but when things are pretty obvious and they just kind of blow you off, those are the ones you kind of got to watch out for and keep pressing. And it does get aggravating. We were talking about that a little bit before the podcast, but the good ones, they're out there. You just gotta find them.
Yeah. So keep on doing what you're doing, guys. You're great. Whether people tell you or not, you're great. Thanks.
Doing great. Yeah.
I mean, I know the VA system has been jacked since the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, I went to Iowa City with my dad when I was literally in grade school. I would go with my dad, and I would see how people would talk to him, and I'm like, that guy's a World War II, Korean War, Vietnam era soldier. Mm-hmm. He fought all three, and you're going to talk to him like that?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
enabled you to go to school to get the profession you're in, and you're going to talk shit to him?
Yeah.
It's fixed overnight. I say this: the docs that I've dealt with so far, most of the docs I've dealt with so far have been amazing. I can't say
I'm glad you said that, because and Mark just popped in, about Dr. Emily. She's our upline. Dr. Emily was here for our charity last month, our event that we had, and she knows nothing about military. She does not prior service. She doesn't know anything about that. So she's real excited about what we're doing here and trying to get started here with the veterans and relief for troops and what have you not. But between her and Dr. Jill, my oncologist, I've learned so much about the disease I have and how CBD works in it. which is really interesting. And we're trying to get everybody together. And maybe we can do a big podcast sometime with them all on there talking about, what have you not. But everybody that contributes to the betterment of the soldiers, no matter where you're at, we thank you. Yes, it is difficult. It is a very, very long process. And I think you and I, Chuck, talked about one of our earlier podcasts where we talked about dealing with the VA and how long it takes. In that time, real quick, in that time that you're doing that kind of stuff, though, getting in and doing your claims, whatever, you have to be leery of what you don't feel good about when it comes to a certain. If you don't feel like you're getting service, or you feel like something's not right, or something's going on with you and you don't feel like they're doing something for you, it is okay to go to the advocate and go say, hey, can I get another opinion from another doctor or something? Because maybe I'm wrong, but they're not doing anything for me. So exactly. So because I did that with my shoulders. I went to the San Antonio sports doctors for the Spurs, and I got a check of reality there that the VA hadn't told me. And the doctor said, if you keep doing what you're doing, right, we're going to have to replace your shoulders in 5 to 10 years, and you're only 42. And I'm like, and it's all from lifting, it's all from PT, it's all from doing all that crazy stuff, and then the chemo, inflammatory arthritis. And I was like, whoa. Yeah. So yeah, you're absolutely right, man. Good to those that are, you shouldn't have to have a serious disease like me to be seen at top-notch level at the VA. I think everybody should be seen equally. Okay. But so absolutely.
Yeah, and I get it. In my humble opinion, you got to look back to when we were active duty or when we were in, and we're both non-commissioned officers, both staff sergeants, both E6 in the Army, led troops, and it seemed like no matter what duty station you went to, you always had one sham shield mother, that, oh, I got a blister on my pinky, I better go in and see if I have cancer. Yeah. Or, oh, my back's a little stiff, I think I need a back operation. Oh, we had those guys. Every time you turn around, they're the TMC. Every time you turn around. So I believe in my heart of hearts that the doctors that are at the VA, I would say 90% of them, I'm being gracious because I've seen a lot, and I've heard a lot and I've talked a lot. So I will say 90%, maybe 95% of the docs there, great people. They're there to help you, but you got that small group that are like, sham shield, come on, let's go get this guy out of here. Let's get somebody else in here. He's shamming. And, I'm sure it happens. And I'm sure they see it every day. I'm sure they do. What they call it, a hypochondriac or whatever. They get a little hangnail. They start to bleed. Oh my God, I'm going to bleed to death. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I'm not that guy. Don't treat me like that.
The sick call.
I mean, it's understandable. It's understandable.
You do have those sick call, what we call sick call rotators, where they sit there and they just go to sick call. If they don't want to do any work, I got this. I need to go to sick call. And but prior to, I'm going to say 2000. Prior to that, the NCOs had a little more discretion about sending their troop to, to sick call because, you come on, right? But after 2000 and things changed on how we have to look at our soldiers and how the TRADOC system changed you can't stress them out. And they gave us those dumbass cards and they said, hey, cool. You can't. When that happened, you were powerless. You were powerless to hold people accountable for the crap that they're doing. You know what I'm saying? So, but I know what you're talking about, man. I saw it too many times.
Yeah, and that stuff started rolling around like that. You started getting micromanaged by everything. I'm like, whoa, hold up, LT. Last I knew, I had almost 20 years in the military. How long have you been out of West Point?
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. All day. All day they were like that.
Those are my soldiers. I don't care if you're a platoon leader or not. Those are my soldiers.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm your soldier, but those are mine. And you guys are gonna knock your shit off. You can go take that someplace else. Those are my soldiers. And I don't care if it's the damn sergeant major, it's the first sergeant. I don't care if it's the sergeant major of the army. If he's got a problem with one of my soldiers, you better come and talk to me. Show me that respect. Because I show him respect every day. You better show me the same. If not, we're going to have a problem. Then we'll go back.
There is a hierarchy. Yeah, there's a respect to hierarchy that goes up and down, but ultimately it's changed too, man. All that's changed. But that's another that's a whole nother topic. Yeah, I mean we can, bro, the stories. But I was sitting at work today, and some of the guys at work were talking about some things that happened in the past, and it brought up about how there's been during combat, and this is when we were in the desert, and even today, you go to combat, and how sometimes certain individuals, troops, decide to go off on a tangent and do dumb shit, and I'm going to say it. We have we had 4 Marines decide to just go on a killing spree while they were in the desert, and we've heard of people with troops just walking off AWOL, wanting to get found or not wanting to do it anymore, and what have you not.
Well, and how about the guy that threw the grenade in the tent and killed a bunch of people?
Yeah, and so it just made me, and we were talking about it, and one of our techs from the other contract, she was watching a podcast about this, and she was like, "Hey, Drew, this might be a good topic for you to talk about sometime when you start talking about combat and mental issues and awareness and trying to help those that come home get over things that they saw and what have you not." And I said, that's a great topic. And then we were talking about it there at work today, and I was like, we haven't really touched on the actual combat, what I call combat trauma, or traumatic brain injury that is not what do you call it? It's not blunt force, like it's not from an IED. It's a situation that you're in, it's a stress that you're under, and what have you not. And having been there myself, and you having been there, we have experienced that, and I myself did. I threw my helmet at Sergeant Major when we had a Sergeant Major Briscoe. That probably wasn't the smartest thing to do, but at the time, honestly, he didn't. I'm gonna get on Sergeant Major real quick. When we were in the desert, when we were over there, he looked at me one day and he said, "Hessler," and I said, "Yes, Sergeant Major." He says, "Been in the military 33 years, never once deployed. And this is the first time I'm getting deployed ever." And we just drove through that crap that we just drove through. And what we did was we went to a kill zone twice because our commander wasn't paying attention to overlays, and we happened to drive through a kill zone and didn't know it. And when we turned around, because he realized we were on the wrong route, we drove back through it and got caught in a traffic jam, and then they started, all hell broke loose. And when we got to where we were going, I was quiet, but I was so angered because we didn't need to be there. Not what we were doing there as a whole, but in that moment in time when we were instructed by the division to, the roads are black. They're not even going to roll Abrams out there. Why the hell are we out there? We're commo, right? I was so angered that when I got out of the truck, my reaction, I took my helmet and I threw it in the truck, and it bounced off my seat and hit Sergeant Major in the side of the head.
Oh, fuck.
And he looked, no, that's no lie. And he looked at me. And the only thing I could do was, in my head, I said, "Yeah, that's this ain't going to be good. And I apologized, Sergeant Major. I said, I'm just angry. And he looked at me and he said, yeah, that was kind of uncalled for. And that first time of going through that you're not prepared for, it took me a little bit to understand, right? But we were right back on the road. So I had to clear it out of my head. I had to clear it out. It's weird being a driver and being on the roads all the time and constantly seeing that stuff. You become numb to it where it almost doesn't scare you, and it's scary. But when it catches up to you, right? That's the traumatic part, is when you finally calm down and you stop what you're doing for the day, right? My whole goal when we were leaving, and the whole goal that I had with me and the first sergeant and the sergeant major was, if this is all I'm going to do, if this is all that Sergeant Hester is going to do, is protect the sergeant major, that was my job at any cost, I'm going to go to the gym. So I had this grand of at least just working out, right? After about 6 or 7 months of working out after getting off the road, I got a case of Bell palsy, where the left side of my face just fell. And we were in the gym working out. And I wasn't sick. I didn't have any virals. I didn't have any infections going on or anything, but my face fell. And if you ever look at me close and pay attention, you'll see that my left side of my face is slightly drooped just a little bit, because I've had 3 cases of it. But the first time we were in the gym, we were working out, and my first sergeant looked at me, and then he looked at me, and I went to talk, and my whole face, I couldn't talk. It was just weird. It's like, and he sent me to the TMC, and the doc said, we got to check you for a stroke. We got, because that's the first sign of a stroke, is your face falling. I was like, but I feel fine. I'm working out. And what they come to find out, it was stress. Stress inflamed my cranial nerve, and the way that nerve runs through your jawbone, it pinched the nerve, and my face fell. Gotcha. So I say all that to say, what's wrong with me, and how do we deal with combat trauma? Even today. Well, one, I think a lot of what we do is about realizing what's wrong. Okay? And that's going to be the key to your everyday success, is what is wrong with me? And why is it wrong with me? Right?
Right.
And that's going to be the thing that soldiers that have thoughts, and soldiers that have, and people that have this in their mind, that they just can't get rid of it. They have to first identify what's really going on.
Sure.
And we talk about what really triggered it was talking about what those 4 Marines did over in the desert. Hold on just a second.
Yeah. So Bandit wanted to say hi to everybody. I'm surprised he wasn't up here to begin with, because the dog never leaves my side.
Sorry about that. My Google decided to start playing music. Hold on just a second.
Oh, Pantera's fine.
Hold on just a second, man.
Yeah, man, you good? So, anyways, I wanted to take a second now that I have an opportunity. I want to say about 5 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. I was reading this earlier while I was at the VA all day today. And,
okay, now that I was interrupted because of Google wanted to act the fool. So anyway, we were talking about these 4 Marines that decided to just go on a shooting spree over there in Iraq. And it makes you wonder, what goes through people's minds and why they do that. And I got to thinking about it today, about my own experience. And there are probably soldiers today, I'm very sure, that still sit there and ask, I have these thoughts, even today. I have these thoughts of doing things. We have soldiers who 22 veterans a day commit suicide. That's a true statistic.
Very true. To this day still.
To this day. And so when I was coming up on trying or thinking of today how we were going to talk about this and how can we help people, I refer back to the time that when I came home and I had to drive in the center of the road. I had a lot of anger built up in me, right? It wasn't me. I wasn't an angry person. But when I got back, I was angry. And over the years of calming down through jujitsu and CBD, Zalise has been a huge part of that. I can really focus on what made me be the way that I was when I first got back. How did it change me as a person? Right? Why did these Marines go and shoot? Why did that one Marine go to the range with Chris Kyle and shoot him? Why do they do this? Right? And so many times today, I've seen it, I've heard it. The want to get help because the amount of work it does to unwire your brain from that stuff is so much more than what a lot of people want to take on today. And the liabilities that comes from that is really great. Families get hurt. Families can, families have, there's fatal issues, fatalities in this stuff because soldiers don't know how to deal with the stress. I want to say I got lucky because I'm a little wired differently, that I don't freak out, right? I just kind of get quiet and try to figure out what's going on. I don't know. I just get quiet. But sometimes it gets to you to a point where you don't control, you can't control what you do. It's like your mind just goes berserk, right? And you get this instant anger, this instant anxiety, this instant I've got to fit, and it's not always in a good way, and things happen. So I wanted to address that tonight because I think it's important that we do talk about, as we talk about weapons on our podcast, and we talk about, we talk about Zalise, and we talk about ways to get better and what have you not. I'm just going to come out and say it. It's work. It is work to get your brain right. Right? Anything that's cognitive up here, and I say cognitive, I'm not talking about like medically, like you got fluid levels, your serotonin and things like that, right, that your body controls, right? But anything cognitive that goes on up here, and it's not right, and it's not you, you still have to put the work in to help make it go away. And it's not going to happen on its own. You can smoke all the weed you want. You can drink all the alcohol that you want. You can sit there and try to drown it with any type of whatever you want to call it. Anything that you try to drown it, all the pills and all. Listen, if you don't sit down and actually look in the mirror and go, this is what's wrong with me. I don't know why or what the trigger is, but I know where it comes from. And start working on how you react to those triggers. We're going to still continue to have these issues that we have today in suicides and abuses and beatings and shootings and what have you not. PTSD is a hard thing to It's a hard thing to overcome, but it's very easy to put out, or how can I say this? Make apparent or put the show on that you have these things, because
Right.
it's you can get benefits from it, right? I'm 50% PTSD, and I'm not proud to say that, because there are people way worse off than me, right? So I just wanted to touch on that as we talk about Zalise, and we talk about things that have calmed me down, that have calmed other veterans down that are on the product. That if you have a hard time trying to figure it out on your own, and you're not taking any medication to at least calm it down so you can try to focus on what's going on cognitively, that's what we're here to help with. Because we are walking proof that if you put the time in and you put the work in and the research, you will and can get better. You will and can fix some of these things that come to your head. And I'm speaking to all the veterans out there that happen to watch this after this as a replay, or listening right now. Sometimes reality is just as harsh as the issues that we're facing. Right?
Right.
Sensei always told me when we trained, he said there's always two things that you can't control in your body: emotions, and you can't control that brain. You can't. I couldn't control my nightmares. I couldn't do it. And I rarely talked about them, because I rather not talk about what I dream about, right? But I do know that after years of working on it and then finding something that calms those dreams and that stuff down, I rarely dream about it. Rarely. And it's not any different than what most of our battle brothers and sisters have seen over there. But personally, having going through some of this stuff, it's rough. But we put the work in. So if you're a veteran out there, and if you're someone that is still struggling with these emotions from what you've been through, right? And you still wake up going, I wake up and sometimes I'm just angry. I'm just mad. Okay, well, what do you do to fix it? I don't know. I stay mad and I just let it go away. What if it doesn't go away?
Oh, yeah.
What if the comfort, right? What if the comfort of your mind, it's more comfortable to be angry than put the work in to be happy?
That's when it's bad.
That's when it's
you're
bad.
more comfortable being pissed off at the world,
yes,
than being happy with your surroundings in your life. That's a serious problem.
Yes, absolutely. And we haven't even talked about triggers, right?
Yeah.
Last Sunday, I'm teaching jujitsu, and we're by a softball field, and I'm parked nose facing the softball field, but I'm about 25 feet away from the fence, right? You can park there. That's what it's there for. And I go back over there, and I got this huge hole in my windshield from a softball. Now, had I been the person I was a few years ago, back when I hadn't calmed down or whatever, that would have probably put me into a holy hell rage. It probably, and I'm being straight up honest with you, because it's a trigger that takes me back to my first ambush and things that I went through for the first time, that I went, why? Why are we here? Why did this happen? Why is this? What am I missing here? Right? Had I been that person back then, I'd have lost my mind. I'd have been so mad that I'd have probably brought it home. Right?
Yep. Same here.
And then I'd be mad at the money of my deductible that I got to pay, and it just carries on and on and on and on and on. And here's the thing that really is brutal about this: if we don't get it under control, it carries over to people that don't deserve it.
Yeah, it carries over to your loved ones, your dog, your cat, your horse,
Absolutely.
your animals, whatever.
Absolutely.
And not only that, and speaking from experience, you get so raged out, and we've talked about it. You've been one of the you and my better half are probably the only two people that really calm me down a lot. You know what I mean? And I know when I'm speaking from experience, and it gets me a little emotional because you know my loved ones didn't deserve it. You know what I mean? But times where prime example when I worked for Caterpillar, I was working in the lab, and I was learning a new procedure. This guy come over. He was supposed to be teaching me. Okay. Now you know how I am, hands on. I got it. You know what I mean? So I'm doing my thing, and I'm getting faster at it, and things are going good. Things are going good. I turn around, and here's this guy doing my work for me. Now, granted, he had nothing else to do. He was not assigned. He had no jobs to do. His only job was to look over my shoulder, make sure I didn't screw anything up.
Right.
Because I'm still learning. I look over, and he's setting up my machines, putting the parts on and measuring. And I'm like, I cannot learn this if you're doing it for me. I mean, I blew up the lab. Now, this is a factory.
Right.
The lab, you come out of that noisy ass floor, you come in the lab, you can literally drop a pin on the floor and probably hear it. You know what I mean? It's that quiet, like a library quiet in there. Just, I blew up. Boss took me aside, and I told him what I felt, and how it was going on. He said, Chuck, man, just go take 5, man. Just go take 5. I get it. You're good. Don't sweat it. He goes, I know what's up. The guy's never been seen a day of military in his life, but he knew. Sent me down to the little mess hall there, and the cafeteria, got a drink. I came back and I was good. Yeah. Come home. I can't remember what it was, but something wasn't such or something. I can't remember what it was, but I got pissed off about it, and man, it just all boiled over.
Sure.
They didn't deserve that shit, and it literally was something so freaking stupid, that now when I think about it, because I don't remember what it was, but I do know it was something like menial, like it really held no weight. It wasn't important, but I blew up like it was, somebody's not guarding the president or some shit. You know what I mean? And I reacted. I blew up, and I was stupid. And I, to this day,
it's almost embarrassing. Yeah.
Well, not only that, that's not the man I'm supposed to be.
Right.
That's not the man that my dad raised. You know what I mean? That's not.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy that my brother, would tell all his buddies about how great his little brother was. That wasn't me. That wasn't my daughter saying, that's my dad. That wasn't me.
Yeah.
So if
and
you're
people
finding yourself doing these things, please stop. Take a break. Pick up the phone. Make an appointment.
That's and you hit it right there with you have to have you can't listen. I'm gonna give this life lesson, and I want everybody to take it as real as the ground that you walk on. You can't control your mind. You cannot control your emotions. But what you can control is how you react. You do have a choice in how you react. It doesn't matter what the trigger is. And I'm going to say in jiu-jitsu, we have this thing called my eye. My eye is my space. It's my dance bubble if you watch Dirty Dancing. This is your dance bubble. This is my dance bubble, right? That's my eye. If you stress about what is outside of your control, if you stress about what's outside of anything that you can make a decision on, if you just stress outside of what your finances are, if you stress outside of anything that you can't put your hands on, you are never going to be calm.
Never.
And then the focus that you have to have for you is never going to happen. And then it bleeds into the people that are in your dance bubble all the time because you live with them, your friends, your family, your wife, your husband, your kids, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter what you went through over there. And I'm going to say this as real as a heart attack also, because I know that there are guys that there's troops have been over there that didn't see the fence line or the front gate the whole time they were out there, unless they were headed to the airport when they got there and headed to the airport when they were getting ready to leave. And all of a sudden, they have been in the worst of the worst, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So I say all that to say, here's reality, right? Stop making excuses to buy you more time to not have to deal with things that are in your bubble. And stop using things that you don't have control of outside your bubble to enforce you having that time inside your bubble so that nothing gets done. And then you can point the finger. See, outside, it's easy to point the finger when it's outside. And it doesn't matter. Again, I'm going to go, and I'm not talking about the troops that just couldn't do it, because I'm here to tell you, there are some just can't handle it. They're wired differently when trauma happens. Okay? And it is too much. And sometimes it is too late. It's sometimes we can't get to those. And that's why we do have the suicides that we have, because we haven't been able to reach everybody. And I hope that through our podcast, as two combat veterans that have been on both ends of the issues. Okay? When I got back from Iraq, and I was about twice the size that I was, because I ended up finding out that I was lifting angry instead of just lifting. I worked out to get over everything that we've been through, and I was doing more damage than what I thought I should have been doing or what I was doing. And I was very angered. The smallest stuff would anger me, right? Where we almost physically, I almost physically wanted to get angered. And little did I know that the trigger was coming from inside my bubble, right? And it wasn't anything I was doing. It was someone else was doing it inside my bubble, but I ended up reacting on those triggers.
Right.
Okay. All these years later, and all of the teaching from Sensei and all of the therapies and all the stuff, CBD and Jiu-Jitsu has got me at a point now that I don't get mad at things. I'll talk about the motor here before we leave. I told you just a little while ago what we found out about what happened to the motor. And just the cost alone would probably upset somebody. But guess what? You have to look at things in a realistic manner. You have to look at your life in a realistic manner. And you have to understand that anything outside of your control, what are you worried about? People talk, it's almost like when you have these effects, right? You come back and you have all these triggers. You have all these things that anger you. The last thing people want is someone else talking bad about them, right? You go to a bar, you see it all the time. You go to a bar, someone says something, and all of a sudden, oh, what, you got something to say to me? You know, and the next thing you know, you're 45 pounds heavier than what you were, and you just try to impose on someone just because they had something to say. It's none of your business. If someone's got something to say to you, and you know that you have these things that trigger you, whether it's physical, emotional, financial, whatever it is, and it just triggers and takes you back to a time where it was easy for you to be upset, where over there you could be upset and it be justified because look, we're in combat, so you can be mad,
right.
you know?
Right.
You know, you have to do the work yourself. It's not going to go away,
right.
people. This stuff does not go away on its own. Here's reality. You have to put the work in.
Exactly. It's like, okay, you have a house or apartment, whichever the case may be. We'll just say, we'll call it, you have financial responsibilities. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do what to get that money? You have to work to
Gotta
get
work.
the money. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What? I don't care if you're on disability or you had to do the work to get that disability, right?
Yep.
Okay. It's a responsibility you have to your creditors or whatever to pay your bill. You have to work for it. Okay.
Correct.
It's the same thing with your mental health. Okay. You have to put in the work if you want to get better. It's like playing
Yep.
guitar. You want to learn how to play Stairway to Heaven? Guess what? You don't just pick it up and do 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 do. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to work at it. You have to put the work in. Okay.
You have to.
Great baseball players had to put the work in. You have to do it. It's the same thing. You just have to look at it as I don't have a choice. I got to get this done. If I want to, and with my character and the way that I am, I'm going to do it the best of my ability, bar none, hold nothing back. I'm getting this done. Rock on. Let's get it.
Right.
That's what it takes.
Right. Because, and we know this, when we're told that we got to go and do what we volunteered to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can't say no. Nobody wants to do it. And and if there's any young troops out there that's still active duty that haven't been deployed, are afraid to get deployed, let me give you a little bit of what you signed up for when you took the oath to serve this country. To protect it, foreign and domestic. Which means that you gave your life away the minute you sign that line. It doesn't matter where they send you. Doesn't matter how many times you go.
That's right.
It doesn't matter what part of the day they send you. It doesn't matter how it none of that matters. What you try to make excuses for, oh, but I'm hurt, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. Then what'd you sign up for?
Right.
Right.
That's
Now,
the thing.
and
I know there's a lot of these younger folks, and I'm not bashing people. Okay,
oh
don't get
no.
that. But I have seen, and not just younger soldiers. I've seen old fart soldiers do it too. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but it's like they'll work hard at making excuses to get out of doing something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't
Mm-hmm.
do this, man. This is your personal mental health. Okay, we give a damn, obviously, or we wouldn't be talking about it.
Sure.
Okay, 988. You got a problem? Call it.
But don't be afraid. See, that's and you take all you take all that stuff up, and then a lot of people be like, well, why didn't you get help? I didn't think they were going to help me out, or I don't know. I was kind of embarrassed to talk about. Nobody wants to hear what I'm going through. What do you think? What do you think those that have that walk through this and have become uh, inspirational speakers, veterans, double amputees have been to combat, and here they are in the Senate, right? Had to get over all of that stuff. Have to get over the stigma that there is no help, right? And all the excuses to prevent you to have to do the work because it's more comfortable to be enabled and reliant on somebody or something than it is go do it and make yourself something that most others probably don't want to. And that's the problem with today. The pills that you have to swallow to accommodate everything you want a system to give you,
Right.
you're not going to get it. And fixing this up here, and I'm not saying go and we have a suicide problem for a reason. And it's not because they couldn't get help.
They didn't go get it.
It's not because the help wasn't available. Right? It's because they didn't think help would help them.
Right. And I want to add something to that too.
Yeah.
Now, I've read, because you know how I am. I research and I read and all that. I've read where some cases where you know soldier will or soldier, Marine, Navy, Air Force, don't matter. I'm using soldier as a blanket
Mm-hmm.
statement, but
Mm-hmm.
they come home, they go to the VA, and then it's like, well, it's going to take you about 3 months to get your appointment. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Things you got to remember. Okay. Prime example. Today, at 0 dark 30, I was up taking a shower. Daybreak hit. That sun popped up over the horizon. I was on the road to San Antonio. Drew called me at about 5:28 to be exactly. Called me.
Yeah.
And I'm on the road, just leaving the VA, where I had to park way in the back. Okay. Where the contractors park, they had their little trailers and pickup trucks and, bobcats and all that. I had to park back there. I had to walk all the way up. Nobody stopped in their little golf cart to pick me up. So it took me about 30 minutes to walk up there. Got in there. Went and got my x-rays for my back. Got a CT scan for my back. I went back over to the ER like they told me to. And I'm not going to kid you. I got into that ER. Now, this is like dark 30 in the morning still. It's early. And it's like 8 o'clock. By the time I got back, did all that, get back about 8:30, that whole ER was full.
Mm-hmm.
I literally sat back in the back corner and counted 98 people in the ER. Now, out of those 98 people, how many were, if you had to triage them, how many are, like got to be right now or whatever have
Mm-hmm.
They have like priority.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's the same thing with mental health. Okay. Until they actually sit and talk to you to find out what's going on in your gourd,
Mm-hmm.
You got to be patient.
You have to be patient.
You have to be patient. Because remember, think about this. When you went to your first duty station and you in-processed, how many people did you see in that place?
A lot.
Think about the first time you went to the chow hall at your first duty station. How many people were in that place? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All those all those soldiers, have a problem at one time or another.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now think about how many soldiers or veterans do you think are in, San Antonio, military city? How many veterans do you think are in the outlying towns of San Antonio?
Oh, it's
At least a million. At
there.
least a million.
Yeah, it's probably undescribable about and
Take your time. Just have
take
patience. That's
yeah
all I ask.
yeah.
Got our email. Email us. We'll talk to you. We'll do what we got to do to keep you green until we can get you in there.
Yeah.
We'll do something.
It's funny you say it's not funny, but I'm glad you said that too, because that with Mark said, many times people have been taught to be very independent. I get it. Absolutely. People are independent. However, independency does not say that don't go get help. Don't ask for help. Don't you in independency, in my interpretation of it means I've got to make what's wrong with me, whether it's financially, emotionally, cognitively, physically, or whatever. It's my job to make sure that I take care of myself. And as long as I'm doing everything that I can't worry about what they're not doing, because all it's going to do is make it worse for me.
Right. And see, that's the thing,
That's all.
And I'm glad you kind of put that like that too, because, if we'll just stick with the topic, if we have a problem, okay, sure, we can absolutely be independent and all the meaning. I don't need somebody to tell me I got a problem. I know I got a problem.
Sure.
I need to take my ass in there and go get checked. Okay.
Yep.
That's not asking for help. That's saying, hey, I got a problem. I need to get this fixed.
Yeah.
You fix this problem. I need my problem fixed. You're the guy that fixes it. Fix it. Right. It takes a bigger man or a bigger woman or a bigger soldier or a Marine or space cadet. I don't know what they call the space guys, but the Air Force guys, an airman or an officer, whatever. I don't give a hoot, holler, rat's ass. Don't care. Because at the end of the day, and even in the morning when I first get up in the morning and put my clothes on, guess what? I put my clothes on just like you did. Okay? So if I have a
Right.
problem and I can go, I'm a big enough man to say, hey, I got an issue. I need it fixed. Don't act like, oh, I'm too tough and too badass to. You know what? That doesn't make you a badass. That makes you a
No.
dumbass.
Yeah. I did that. I and
I did
on
too.
on
I did too.
on that I did that too. It almost killed me. So you're absolutely correct. Independency means that you have to create your own destiny on whatever it is that you want to do. If you message us and you say, Drew, Chuck, listen, I have this going on in my head. How do I fix it? And I'll be the first to tell you, the best therapists in the world are the ones standing right next to you that's been through the same shit you have.
Your battle buddies.
Everybody, and that's truth, because you cannot. Because I've been through the therapy, right? When I came back, I've been through the therapy. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know why I was having this dream. I don't know why things were triggering, and I always kept thinking of back to certain things, and then it dawned on me, and it didn't come from a therapist. It came from my sensei. It's the weirdest thing. And he never served in the military, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when I say that I am not a big fan of therapists, it's not that I discredit what they do. It's not that I do not believe they have good intentions or what have you not.
Sure.
I have, out of my own experience, found out that the best therapy for me and what I deal with is talking to someone that has handled it better than me, that's done the same shit I have, that's been through the same thing I have. Because if I notice someone is dealing with a situation a lot better than what I have, and that something was triggered from before, and all of a sudden it's happening now, and they're calm and they're cool and they're collective, and it's just driving me nuts, and it's the same thing. I've done it. I said, how do you stay
Hey,
calm?
that's
How,
when you tap
how do
them
you?
on the shoulder.
Yeah,
Let me talk to you a
help
minute.
me. Right, help me. And
Well,
the
why do you think
problem, well, a lot of people do not want, and I say people, both men and women, do not. I teach a young lady jujitsu, right? I've been teaching her for 7, 8 years now, and she still to this day has a problem with hitting me, right? Because it's not in her genes, it's not in her makeup to want to strike somebody, right? But she's had a lot of stuff happen to her physically that has given her this trauma to want to keep training so it doesn't happen again.
Right.
So now it's time that we put all of this stuff together in a situation, and she has to strike at me, and she gets wigged out about it. And I said, "What's your problem? Why, Addie? Why are you? What? I'm telling you to strike me. If you hit me hard enough and I don't protect myself, that's on me. But this is what you need to do to protect yourself." And she's like, "It's just not in me." I said, "I need you to go back and think about what those people that physically hurt you did to you, so you can stop caring about you doing it back to someone when they do it to you, because they didn't give a damn about hurting you. Why are you caring about whether or not it's you as a
Exactly.
person hitting back? That's not going to work. So it doesn't matter what your triggers are. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter where you come from. You have control and choice on how to deal with your situations. So when you talk about going to therapy, yeah, try it out. But in my experience, the best therapy is talking to someone that's been through it just like you. And when you roll that into, we wish we could have been there to help someone that is not here anymore because they didn't feel they could get out help, that is when we feel guilty. I wish we could have said something. I wish we could have been there. And I wish that they would have reached out. Well, sometimes they're not going to. So hence tonight into what we do in our podcast, we're going to be very real and very blunt. If we strike something that makes you go, oh, damn, they're talking real. Yeah, we're going to tell you real. You still have to put the work in, people. You still have to put the work in to get yourself right. Doesn't mean you can do it alone. Doesn't mean it's going to happen alone. But you got to put the work in. And
we'll talk to you.
We'll talk to you. You know, and don't talk to people that have never been there. Don't talk to people that's never been where you've been. I'm just going to go out and say that. They don't have a clue. They may listen. Great soundboard. Hey, you know, you talk to other married couples that have been divorced. If you've been married and divorced, then you talk to them and deal with divorces. You don't talk to a combat vet that's never been married, that's out there, you know, running and gunning with the big guys and say, hey, what do I do if I go through a divorce? You probably look at you and be like, leave? I mean, it's going to be very, 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 you know, yeah. But therapists,
and who you are, is it? Being married is who you are. So that's just a side piece, man. You're the main focus. So fix that. You know,
yeah.
you don't have to worry about shit.
You know, and Whip said it. I glanced over and he said it, and that's what I've been trying to say. You have to tailor your own recovery based on what you're going through, built on what you went through, so that you can have a path on where to go. Put the right people in your life that can help you move forward. Because there's going to be someone that's going to put you in their life to help you move them forward. Reach out to us, right? There's a lot of people that don't want to pull the scab off, right? We will pull the scab off because that's the only way to know what's wrong. It's the only way we can relate. And it's the only way that we're going to be able to tell you this is how we dealt with what you're going through. And then once it heals, then you keep moving. So I wanted to talk about that tonight. It was really something that we really haven't really touched on in depth as we've all been there. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to speak. You're not a burden. Let me just throw that out there also too, please. You're not a burden
absolutely not.
If you're needing to be talked off a ledge or something like that, or if you need to be reeled in, right? And you ask us, hey Drew, hey Chuck, I really need, we call it church, right? I really need some church right about now because this is what's going on in my head. And it could be my dog crapped on the floor and my wife got mad at me about it because I was outside and blah, 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 blah. And everything just triggers and you're snowballing. But before you do anything, you reach out, you calm down and you reach out and be like, I just need to get it out. This is why this happened. Okay, I can relate. Let me tell you let me help you get over it. It's not, and it doesn't happen overnight.
Right.
And it's not a one and done deal. You gotta keep working at it, but you also have to take what we say. We're not doctors. We're experienced people that go through this crap all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But we can help you. Some of us are trained in calming down in chaos, dealing with things in chaos, not letting one thing over here in chaos that happened over here trigger another outcome over here, and they're two unrelatable instances. It's not what we do, but we can do that, and we can help you. And if you don't want to go to therapy, or you don't want to go talk to someone that you don't trust has any idea what you're going through, remember, it doesn't have to be combat. It just has to be traumatic. It just has to be traumatic. Because the cool thing about teaching jiu-jitsu is that there's no combat there, even though ours is a war art. It was combat anyways. It's everyday life. Dude pulled a gun on me, and I still wake up to it, Drew. And how do I get out of my head? We can work on that. I can tell you how to get over it. You know? And so I just wanted to talk about that tonight. I know it was kind of an improv topic, but I just felt
we needed that one though. We needed that. That was a good one.
I think as we sit here and we keep talking about soldiers that feel like they don't have help. People that don't have help. It didn't even have to be soldiering. If you've been through a divorce and it still bugs you and you don't know how to get over it, and she's on your mind and whatever not, or he's on your mind or whatever not, I've been through too. Hey, I got you. What do you want to talk about? I am a product of a divorce. My parents got divorced. Right. I got you. Right. Hey, Drew, I rolled my car on 410 trying to be like everybody else, and it's just bothered me. Well, I haven't rolled it on 410, but I've rolled on a racetrack. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's probably something you didn't do right. Tire pressure. Hey, right? Get over it. But remember, you're in control of your own destiny. You're in control of your own mind. Don't let what happens up here make you happen out here, whether it's verbally, physically, or what have you not. Stop for a minute. And if it's bothering you that bad, reach out to us. Just reach out and say, ugh, please, how can I, or can you talk about this on the next podcast or whatever? So I just wanted to put that out there tonight, and and segue into Zalise. We're on the Patriot program. Veterans, go to Zalise.Patriot program. Relief for troops. We can talk to you about how getting on Zalise, and then quick update on the motor. It's hurt a lot worse than what we thought it was. So we're going to be out just a little bit more, and but we're getting it fixed. We're getting parts in, and we're gonna be back on the track here in a couple months. So that is two divorces. Lost my daughter, so I can really absolutely. Let me tell you something. My first divorce was brutal because I got three daughters, and talk about being alienated, Mike. It wasn't just until a couple weeks ago when my youngest daughter finally graduated that my middle daughter said, "Let's try again." And I got my daughters back over time. And the only thing that I could say to that is I always believe that when they turn 18, they're going to want to know the truth, and they will be curious, and they will go, "Hey, Dad, Mom, I want to know the truth from your side of what happened." So it's there. It happens. So yeah.
Amen. Amen. So again, guys, that's another awesome show wrapped up. Drew, man, I'm glad you called me and told me about that, because I really, really wholeheartedly believe that one needed to be done, and it's too bad that it wasn't done sooner.
Yeah.
That was a great topic, and I thank you so much for bringing that up.
Thanks, Whip.
I do want to say too, and I was saying it earlier when you were having your Google issue. About I think it was about 5 days ago, I believe, it's when the article came out. But there was some pretty brutal stuff that was said about, like, U.S. Law Shield, USCCA. They're calling it murder insurance.
Yeah.
Okay. There were some pretty brutal things said on Facebook about USCCA, which I proved wrong. But now USCCA in recent days, like, and we're talking this in the past few days, if you think that your, what was it, $29 or $39, $40, $50 a month is not worth it because they supposedly can drop you, they can't do it no more. You're guaranteed.
Yep.
Read it. So
yep.
Big, great, huge, great, wonderful things coming out of USCCA. I hear all the negative stuff, but nobody ever, it's just like when we go to the VA. They always sit there and bash the VA, but they never want to talk about all the good things they do. Okay?
Correct.
And I'm speaking from experience.
Yeah.
Customer service that I have gotten has been, I mean, top shelf. Okay.
Sure.
I give them, what is it, $29 a month or $26 a month, something, whatever, right? I have access to classes that are over $300,
Sure.
multiples, and I'm not talking bunches of these different classes.
Yeah, it's free.
Okay, all the different trainings, and it's all free. Okay, that alone is worth your $26 a month. If you're proactive, again, put in the work. Okay,
Sure.
you want to be a responsible gun owner, put in the work. Don't be like these other guys that are giving gun owners a bad name, and protect the Second Amendment and go do this. Okay, but the USCCA has been super awesome to me. I did put in a partner packet for them. I don't know if we're going to get it or not. I'm not. We don't have a lot of subscribers. I'm not going to hold my breath.
Sure.
But they are aware of us. They are aware of us, and they great job, guys. But I don't know if we have enough subscribers in that to be considered partnership yet. Okay. So, but I haven't gotten a yay or nay yet. I'm just saying that. I'm just kind of going with a gut feeling. But anyway, hands down, I'm going to support them no matter what anyway, because they've proven to me to be top-notch, classy people. They say every time they've ever told me they're going to do something, they've done it. When you get results like that, you develop a trust and a bond with this company,
Right.
And it's hard to turn your back on something that's been that good to you. You know what I mean? So, guys,
you're going to have, yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you're going to have keyboard warriors. We have it in the racing community too. We have it in, we have people bash the USCCA most of the time. Just like what you said, right? All the good stuff that they're doing. Most of the bad stuff that I read or what have you not, and I don't know if you stumbled upon this too, but it's mainly because people didn't get the yes or didn't get what they wanted or thought that they deserved or what they were looking for, because reality hits. Truth hits. I'm going to say 90% is probably it's probably way more than that or way less. I'm just saying, in my personalization, most of the crap that people get mad about when it comes to things like this is because they didn't read the fine print somewhere, or they didn't pay attention to, well, maybe you shouldn't do this. Well, perception is one's reality, but interpretation is also what one's perception is. And people got to get out of the mindset of, well, if you have an we'll say this, Mike or Chuck, is USCCA. If you have an expectation of them and you haven't read everything and asked all the questions and got an understanding and did your research, you're going to be let down. You're going to be let down. You're right. With keyboard warriors, people want to talk smack. Bring it to my face. They do it in the race community all the time. And I tell them, like, if you got some shit you want to say, come here.
Show me.
Come here. Yeah, because reality.
You can show me.
Correct. USCCA's reality. If you want to test the waters, go do something stupid.
Right. Well, see, that's the thing. That's the thing. I tried. I was in a conversation, and the guy was super cool. I'm not going to put his name out there, but it was on Facebook, and it was in a chat about USCCA, because I had made a comment about how awesome they've been to me,
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes back with, yeah, until they drop you. Like, okay, so then I kind of went off, on a sidebar and said, okay, well, what's going on? What are you talking about? And he says, oh, well, I read this where this guy did this and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, brutally killed her husband and da-da-da-da-da-da, and this was said and da-da-da-da-da. I was like, okay, number one, I'm going to end this conversation right here. I'm going to tell you what's up, okay? You pay your monthly due, you get free training. If you don't do that training and you don't get the information and you don't get the knowledge and you don't get reciprocity, I can't say that word. I get tongue tied. If you don't check the laws in the area, and if you don't perform your duties as a concealed carry person in the state that you live in, okay, if you don't abide by those laws to a T, there is no gray area. It's black or it's white.
Yeah.
Okay. If you find yourself in the side that's not good, there's not a lawyer, whether it's USCCA, US Law Shield, whatever one, not going to touch you.
And look exactly what you're saying, and put that to mental health, physical health. If you don't do it, you can't blame somebody else. If you have an expectation without doing your research and work, you're going to get let down. You're going to get let down at the USCCA, probably because you didn't read the fine print, because there's so much to read and train on. If you go to the VA and don't do what they tell you to do, and then you have an expectation and they don't do what you think they should do, you're going to get mad and let down. You marry the wrong person thinking they're the right person with an expectation, you're going to get let down. If you go to a job thinking that you're going to get paid all this money because you think you're worth or deserve an X amount of money and you have 0 certifications in your life, you're going to get let down. You're talking about everything that happens up here relates to what we have to do out here to take care of ourselves. USCCA is a tool for when you've done everything right. When you've done everything right, you're not going to be let down.
You're right. Absolutely.
If you go to the VA and do everything they tell you to do.
Exactly.
So
and that's why I try to tell people, USCCA gives you all the tools you need to be on point, to be right, and to get the help you need when you need it for doing the right thing at the right time at the right place.
So, correct. If it don't look right,
it's probably not right.
It's probably not right. If it don't smell right, it's probably not right. If it quacks like a duck, it walks like a duck, it's probably a duck.
Probably a duck.
But right. if you're not in tune with putting the time in to protect yourself and use the situation or use the system right because you think you're enabled just because you're a member or whatever, you're going to get let down. And
Sadly mistaken.
Sadly. So anyway, tangent, but it all wrapped up to what we're talking about.
Yeah, with that being said, though, it's what is it? 16 minutes past our time, so that's why Mom was looking at me funny. So, with that being said, guys, I really appreciate y'all for being here.
Yes, thank you guys so much.
I gotta find the email, but I will be putting it on the Gearheads and Guardians YouTube page. Okay, on the actual page itself, where we have like the merch, link for merch and stuff like that. I'm going to put a code in there. So if you do decide to get into USCCA, if you use this code that I'm going to give you, yes, Gearheads and Guardians will get $200 merch from their store. Okay. What we're going to do with that $200 in merch is buy shirts, buy, different things, backpacks, all that stuff. When we go to events, we're going to give it away with our Zali stuff. Okay. So we're not keeping any of it, just so y'all know, and I'll prove it to you. I'll get receipts if I have to prove it. Okay. Because I'm number one, I'm not a liar. I have way too much integrity, and my conscience would kick my ass. So don't have to worry about it. But I'll put that link up. You can use that link to join USCCA. You'll get it's basically $200 in their store, so you can get shirts, hats. I mean, they have some amazing hats, amazing shirts, guys, girls, kids. If I'm not mistaken, I think I even seen stuff in there for your pet. So I try to, if people use the code, well, I got the shelves back there on my rack back there for gunners and stuff. I got space back there from that. So I'll put a big box thing up there, and I'll just put USCCA giveaways, and then I'll throw it all in there. We go to like the baseball games, or we go to the cars and coffee and stuff like that. We'll give it away when we do stuff for relief for troops. So we're not keeping it, guys. Just to let you know, we're not keeping it.
No, we have jobs.
The thing of it is, it's a charity, man. We're supposed to be giving things away. So if we get I get the code, I'll put it in there. If you guys want to join USCCA, use it. Use that code. We'll get notified. And, if I have to, I'll even personally write a thank you letter to you myself. And, let you know that we got it. We appreciate you. And I'm sure the troops and folks that we deal with at our charity events will really appreciate it too. So.
Yep. And real quick, Zalise.com/RL4T. Go to that link, and anything that you buy automatically goes into our charity Patriot program. Go look that one /RL4T. and that is our direct landing page. So, Zalise, Patriot Program, we can talk about it. Let's get you on the right path for feeling good. Get yourself feeling good. Get your mind right. And please know we're always here to talk about things that most people probably don't have the experience to talk about. Right. That was the topic of it tonight. Please reach out.
Right on. So with that, y'all, I gotta say it. Go fast, shoot straight, and God bless. Y'all take care. We'll see you next Wednesday right here. Gearheads and Guardians, 7 p.m. See you then.
Be there.
Cool.